Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the UltraRunning Magazine podcast, fresh off of her finish at Badwater just last week. It's Kaylee Frederick. Kaylee, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show. It's a pleasure to have you. As I mentioned in the intro, that you are the youngest ever to start Badwater. But more notably than that, you're the youngest to ever finish Badwater. How does that feel?
Absolutely amazing. Everyone asks me that, and I have no other way to describe it. It's absolutely surreal. It's just a complete dream come true.
Well, we have a lot to talk about. And before we get to what must have been just a magical experience for you, especially that finish coming in at Whitney Portal. I want to get a sense of who you are as a person. I'm sure lots of people are very curious about who you are and kind of where you've come from. And, to finish Badwater, to even have an idea, even what Badwater is at your age is astonishing. But it's been on your radar for quite some time. And you've been competing in ultras, as far as I know, since the age of 14. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not normal. As I'm sure you've heard time and time and time again. Um,
Yeah.
how did you get into this crazy sport? Your first ultra at age 14 was the Pine Creek 50 miler.
So I started running when I was 7 years old. I would just run 5Ks and 10Ks, like normal distances. And I was really into it. I was really into competing. I was actually winning some local races, like as a 10-year-old. And I loved it. And then my elementary school music teacher, when I was 13, she said, "Do you want to run a half marathon with me?" And I was like, "No, what is wrong with you? Only elite runners can run a half marathon." I didn't know that normal people did that. I literally thought only Olympic runners could run a half marathon. And she said, "No, we'll just run slow. If we need to walk, we'll walk. If we can run, we'll run." So I did that with her, and I was like, wow, that was a lot of fun. So then when I was 14, I wanted to run a marathon, but a lot of marathons won't let me in, let alone ultra marathons, because of my age. So my friend Kristen helped me find one, and I ran my first marathon when I was 14. And she said to me, ultra marathon is only 5 more miles, right? And I was like, okay, okay. So then I ran 50K, 50 miler, and we all know how it goes from there. Yeah, that friend I actually crewed her first 100 miler for her. My sister and I crewed, and I paced the last 50 miles. And this was when I was 14, and I just saw all these people running a 100-mile race, like literally doing what I thought was impossible, what most of the world thinks is impossible. I just saw all those people, and I was like, this is where I want to be. This is who I want to be. This is what I want to do.
Wow, you found your calling. It's always seems to be that one person. I feel like we all have that one person who got us into ultra running by saying, it's just 5 more miles beyond an ultra distance. So let's do a 50K. Makes total
Yeah,
sense, right?
exactly. How hard can it be?
When you obviously, I'm sure you've had to have conversations with your parents to say, hey, I really want to run this 50 miler and ultra. What was their response to that?
So my mom has been so supportive to me the past 18 years. She's been so supportive of everything I wanted to do. There were some races when I was younger that she was like, I don't think you're ready for that. And I was not happy with her answer. Now that I'm older, it makes sense. Like, because I didn't train when I was younger, like I should have. So it makes sense. And she was right for telling me. But like now that I'm older and I can pretty much run what I want now because I train properly. I fund everything myself. I do everything myself. But my mom has been the most supportive person. Like she crews for a lot of my races. She'll pace me at my races. She is absolutely amazing.
Is she an ultra runner herself?
Yeah, she runs ultra. She's not as into it as I am. She's not as big as runner as me. She is really into hiking and backpacking though. That's more of her thing, and running is more of my thing.
So it's a bit of a chicken and the egg question. Who got into ultras first, you or your mom?
Well, my mom started running first to lose weight when I was 7, and that's actually I started running with her. But then ultras, I started running first.
All right. So you kind of broke into that. So when you approached her, like to say that 14, I want to do a 50 miler, sounds like you'd already done a 50K prior to that.
Mhm.
What was her response to that? It sounds like she was totally supportive, but did she have questions for you? I mean, it must have been, it's not an
Yeah.
easy thing to kind of let your kid go into at that age. It's because there's so many questions.
Well, so when I was 14, that was the only time I ever had an injury related to running. I was having knee issues, so I was in physical therapy, and I think like when my physical therapist like cleared me to run, it made her feel better knowing that somebody who is like a professional said I could run. So I think that definitely helped to calm her nerves because she's sitting over there. I'm sure she thinks I was absolutely crazy.
So you went on from there to do the Tussey Mountain Back 50 miler, Pine Creek 100 miler, C&O Canal 100 miler, Buckeye 200 miler at age 17. This is like every year you're kind of raising the bar of the distances that you're doing. When did you decide that you wanted to do the 100 miler? And what was that decision point like for you at just 16 years old?
Well, I mean, I had run at that time. I had done what 2 official 50 milers, and I had done an unofficial 50 miler because I paced my friend 50 miles at her 100 miler, and so I was getting pretty comfortable with the 50-mile distance, and I could run it. I would feel good afterwards. So you can run 50 miles, you can run 100 miles, right? Right?
Sure, sure. We'll go with that. We'll go with that mindset of that. It's just 50 more miles. We're just times
Yeah,
by two. Um,
yeah. I mean,
but
if you have the mindset, then you can do it.
so how did that first 100 go for you?
It was the worst thing I've done in my entire life.
Okay.
I I
You
mean
realize you just said if you set your mind to it, you can do anything. But then you're like, but it was the worst run that I've ever done.
well, yeah, you can do it. I didn't say it was going to be easy or good, but you can do it. Yeah, well, I did not train properly for it, and that is completely my fault, completely on me. I didn't train for it at all like I should have. And then actually the last like 40 miles, over 40 miles, I had to walk the whole thing because my legs could run, but my feet were in such excruciating pain. Actually, like 93 miles into the race, I literally just like laid in the middle of the trail and just bawled my eyes out. And people were running past me, like running, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. Just let me lay here and cry." But I'm just thinking in my head, how are they still running? They're 93 miles in and they're running, and like I knew I couldn't quit because I only had 7 miles to go, but I was just in so much physical pain that I couldn't move. And that's actually one of the greatest parts of my running career because, like, that just showed you how strong your mind is. Because physically, I could not move, but mentally, I still got back up and I did 7 more miles. Probably the slowest 7 miles of my life, but I got it done. And I learned how to train properly after that. I learned real quick. And then my next 100, I was running the entire race. And I was like, oh, that's how you can run. If you put in the time to train properly, then you will get results.
Yeah, the lessons that you can learn in any ultra, especially your first ones, are critical. But the most important thing, and you did it at mile 93, which is to get back up and get back up and finish. Even if your body's telling you no, you wanted to complete it. So good on you for doing that. You have the makings all
Yeah.
there. So what did you change in your training when you went for your second 100 attempt a year later?
Yeah. So I talked to my friend Peter Y. He is such a great runner, super experienced, who I actually met at Pine Creek. And I was asking him how he trained and everything. And he actually like pretty much coached me. He's not a coach, but he was Coach Peter. He pretty much coached me the whole way through, told me how to do my long runs back to back, what I should do throughout the week and everything. And he was like, if you follow this, you'll get sub 24. And then my next 100 Steno Canal, I actually ran the first almost 70 miles with him. And then he said to me, he said, just go. Like, now's your time to just go. If you want sub 24, go. So I credit him so much because he definitely slowed me down in the beginning, not because he's slower than me, but because he's more experienced than me. And he knew that if I wanted sub 24, I needed to slow down in the beginning. So he has been such a great role model for me. He's so experienced and he's helped me so much. But
You know,
yeah,
those people are so important to help guide us through what almost seems impossible, to make it seem possible. Um,
yeah,
you know, and just like having those guides who they just kind of manifest, you know, and they're there and
yeah.
they're gonna help you, which really speaks largely to the ultra running community. What kind of impact has the ultra community had on you thus far?
So much. Actually, like all my friends are like running friends. They're all like, I'm not really friends with anyone my age at all because, I don't like people my age. I like people who are into running and everything. And the ultra running community is so amazing. I think I've met like two creeps in the past 4 years that I've been ultra running. Like everyone is so great. And actually for Badwater, I knew I had support, especially back home, but I didn't even realize how much support I had until after the race because I wasn't on my phone at all. So when I got back, I got service and I finally opened up my phone. It took me like 6 hours to go through social media because I had so much support and so many people posting updates and telling me, good luck, you're doing amazing and everything. And like when I got home, people had actually come and like decorated my whole house saying congratulations and everything. It was amazing. It was so nice of everyone.
That's incredible. That must have felt so damn good. Um,
Yeah, well, when I got home, I was like in tears. Like again, I was like, y'all are amazing.
so let's go ahead and start talking about Badwater. So Badwater, why? Why Badwater?
So my good friend Keith Straw, who has done Badwater 9 times now. If y'all have seen a picture of a man running in a pink tutu, super tall pink tutu, bald, that's him. I actually met him at my first marathon, and he's another person who's just been such a role model in my life. And he told me a couple years ago, you could be the youngest person to ever run Badwater 135. And at the time, he was an 8-time finisher. And I'm like, if this guy who is an amazing runner, he's run over 500 marathons, over 100 milers, he's run this race 8 times. If he thinks I can run this, then I mean, I think I can run it. Um, so he's the one that really introduced it to me and put it in my mind. And then as I started thinking, like who runs the world's toughest foot race, the world's toughest people, and I wanted to be included on that list. So then fast forward a few years and here we are.
Oh, wow. And I thought I saw somewhere that the race director, Chris, reached out to you. Um, is that prior to the race or signing up for it? Is that true?
Yeah, so I mean I actually emailed him just asking about the race. This was probably about a year ago, just because I was super interested in it and I wanted to know about like the young people who have run it, like and everything. And he got back to me and told me, and then we started talking, and then he told me that the age limit to run it was actually 19. You had to be 19 to apply and 19 to run the race. And I asked him if there was any way that would be changed to 18. And he said, and my friend Keith, I told you about, sent in a recommendation for me. And he very politely said no, like it was nothing malicious. It was a super thought out, well written email just explaining why the age limit wasn't going to be changed to 18. And so I was like, okay, so I'm not going to have a chance to be the youngest because Nicodemus was actually 19 in 3 months. And if I waited till I was 19, I would have been 19 in 8 months. So I just kind of let the 135 go. And I was still going to run the other two Badwater races, Cape Fear and Salton Sea, just to kind of, well, one, because I wanted to run them. And two, just to kind of show Chris that even if I can't run the 135, I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to be involved. I still want to do this. And then It was actually like right before during the application window in January. He emailed me and Keith and said, our board has talked again and we've decided to change the age limit to 18. So you can be 18 to apply. He said, like, you're not guaranteed into the like access into the race. I still had to qualify like everyone else. I still had to fill out application like everyone else, be selected like everyone else, but that I could just apply. So I applied and then I got in and it was all history from there.
Well, that's the history they're here to talk about. When you got that email saying that congratulations, you were selected to run Badwater 135, what was that moment like for you?
So I actually did it over a live video on Facebook whenever they announced everyone who got in. And I was driving home from a race. I was by myself watching this live video. And I heard Telma, she said, rookie, 18-year-old. And like, I didn't even hear my name. I just started screaming because I knew it was me. Like, I was literally screaming. I was in tears. And just like, I was literally just like, thank you, God, over and over. It was amazing. I was just couldn't believe that in 5 months I was going to be running the world's toughest boat race.
So then 5 months, it's kind of like a gulp moment that I'm in. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm in. I have some serious work to do because Badwater, for those who don't know, and if you don't know, bless your hearts, but it runs through Death Valley. You start at about sea level and you run up to Whitney Portal just above 8,000 feet to I guess it's the trailhead to Mount Whitney up there. So 135 miles in the scorching heat. Can you give folks an idea of what the high is going to be for that time period and what the low is going to be at night?
Um, so average of temperatures in July in Death Valley is, I think the actual average is like 116, and then lows, I believe maybe 90s ish. I'm not completely sure, but that was about what it was for the race, like 115, 95. It was all in that range pretty
And
much.
how hot did it get today where you live in Pennsylvania?
Today was hot. It was 80 degrees. It was hot here.
Okay, today was hot. It was 80 degrees in Pennsylvania. And we're going to increase that by what, 20, 30 to 30 degrees potentially.
Yeah.
So how did you prepare for
Um,
such a feat?
I did a lot of sauna training, and I got a sauna suit. I would run in. I just layered up. I did a lot of runs. You can't really mock that heat unless you're in it, but my training definitely helped. I can't imagine going into that with zero heat training at all. Um, I said my sauna suit looked like aluminum foil, so if anybody saw me running in that, they probably thought I was insane, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, kind of, you have a little insanity to run Badwater 135. But I hear you talking. You're in a spacesuit,
Yeah.
pretty much. So what does running in a sauna suit feel like?
It's annoying because you can just feel the sweat. Like I could literally just feel liquid like sitting in my arms. It was disgusting. Like taking that off was nasty. It was so gross. It's so gross.
So would you recommend having two sauna suits, one to like run fresh in and the other one to send to the dry cleaners?
Yeah, I would like run it when I would take it off. I would like throw it in the shower and like rinse it off with water like right after I was done because it was not good.
And so that's the sauna suit. And so then you talk about getting into a sauna. Um, what is happening with that training when you're actually going into a sauna?
I would just the sauna that I used was super small, so I couldn't like run or work out anything in it. So I would go in there and read David Goggins' books. I finished both of his books while I was training for Badwater.
I love it. You got the great, like the perfect reading materials to get you
Yeah.
to get you through your sauna. So how much time were you spending in the sauna at any given time?
It would just depend on how much time I had because I was fitting it in with work and school and sports and regular training and everything else. So it would be like 30 minutes to an hour, just depending on the day.
And when you're doing in terms of your training blocks, what does your longest run look like? And I totally like props to you for fitting your training in with school, with other sports that you have going on, and social life and family and all of that. It sounds like a lot.
Just a little. Yeah. But so well my longest runs, I mean I used other races as training runs. Like so I did a lot of back to back stuff. I did like 3 weeks before Badwater was my last like big run. I did World's End 100K, which is a trail race, and then the next weekend I did Laurel Highlands 70 miler, which is a trail race. So those were like my last two big back to back things. And then I did another, so I had like a 70-mile week, and then I did like I cut my mileage like way back then, and I just focused on primarily heat training up until the race. Like the last 2 weeks, I was barely running because a 10-mile run 2 weeks before the race isn't going to change my physicality level of whether I can run 135 miles or not. It's just the heat training that I really needed to focus on.
Yeah, yeah. So you also ran the three other Badwater runs. You said Salton Sea, is it Cape Fear, and another one? What's the third one?
It's just Badwater, Cape Fear, Salton Sea, and then the 135.
Oh, gotcha. So how did the other two, Cape Fear and Salton Sea, how did that help prepare you for 135?
Well, Cape Fear is a 51-mile race at Bonehead Island in North Carolina. That's their East Coast race. And to be honest, that one wasn't really like anything like 135. That one I think was just great to actually meet everyone. I met a lot of people who were doing the Ultra Cup, which is running all three, and just kind of a good introduction to Badwater. But then Salton Sea is actually a team race, not like a relay. Like literally you have teams of two or three and you run with them the whole race. But if people consider that like a mini Badwater, it has kind of the elevation and starts flat, and then you do a couple climbs. So I think that one was really helpful and really good training because it's out in California. So you had the heat. It hit like 106 was the hottest, which is still pretty dang hot compared to Pennsylvania. So it was good training for that. And it was also, I think, great training for because my mom was crewing for that. So I think it was good for her because normally, like around here, normal races, when you crew, you would just go to the aid stations and crew there. But for Badwater, your crew is driving every mile and a half, 2 miles. So I think it was also great for like her to just see how that works.
So you set a goal for yourself, actually two goals that I'm aware of. One, to be the youngest finisher ever at Badwater. Two, to finish it in 40 hours. You finished the race in 40 hours, 6 minutes and 43 seconds. Congratulations on that. When you when you got to the start of the event and here are these people that I'm sure you have seen them before, but to see them at Badwater in Death Valley, to see Ashley Paulson and Harvey Lewis, who I know are personal heroes to you, what was that like?
Oh my goodness, that was amazing. It was after we like took the group picture that I saw Harvey Lewis. I went over to talk to my friend Rachel, and Harvey was standing over there, and I was just like oh my, I was like that's Harvey Lewis like right in front of me. And then I was talking to him, and it was amazing to meet him. And then Ashley Paulson, I saw her inside at the check-in, and I was like waiting to meet her. And then when I was like walking up to her, I was so excited to meet her, but she was excited to meet me because I guess she had just heard about me and she was so excited to meet the 18-year-old. So the fact that I was going to meet one of my inspirations and she knew who I was, that was insane. Like that was like insane. For all
That
you Swifties out there, that would be like Taylor Swift knowing you.
I that is only factually correct. um,
It's insane.
so so for this race, the crewing it takes a special group of people to get you through such an endeavor. This run does carry risk with it. Let's make no bones about it. It can be dangerous here in the heat. A lot of things can go wrong. A lot of things do go wrong for folks out there, unfortunately. But in order to keep you going, what was your strategy going into the race, and then how did it unfold for you? And I want you to, if you could mind, covering your nutrition, your hydration, and what your plan was just to keep you moving forward throughout the day and night.
Yeah, so we touched on a little bit my goals. So my number one goal is to finish. My number two goal was to finish in 40 hours. So as I was going, my crew started out with like every 2 miles, if they wherever they could stop safely. As a crew, you have to be careful out there. If it's sandy and your car gets stuck, well, then you're screwed and your runner is screwed because your runner can't do it without you. So, the crew has to be super careful. And I used liquids wise, I did water and a whole lot of Tailwind. I swear by Tailwind, it is great for me. I love Tailwind. So I did that, and then at the stops, I would grab a Pedialyte. I'll take a swig of Pedialyte. I know Pedialyte is disgusting, but I think it's great during races because it's like Gatorade, but not as sweet. So that's why I love Pedialyte for racing. I did that, and for me to eat during races is it's a whole fight because my brain forgets how to chew and swallow food. So I was able to eat a lot of cheese sticks. I think Andrew said I ate like 18 cheese sticks. It was, you got to do it works.
Whatever works, whatever is going to get you going.
Yeah, whatever works. So I had a whole lot of that. I ate a couple of bites of ramen noodles at some point. They got a cheeseburger and my crew forced me to eat like 3 bites of it. It was disgusting. I hated it. Normally I would have loved it, but not in a race situation. So my crew did a great job though, just like telling me to eat even when I didn't want to eat because I need to eat. So bless them for dealing with me out there. Yeah, they were great. And then they did such a good job. Like I guess I learned after the race, they wrote down pretty much every time I stopped what I ate, what I drank, how much I drank in that section because I would switch handhelds so they would be able to see how much I was drinking. They were amazing. I had the best crew. Every runner probably says that, but they were great.
The and a crew can make and break you out there, and good on them for taking good care of you and really paying attention to what's going in your body, how often and when. I just forgot my question. Oh, darn it. Okay, I'm going to move on. So when you're looking like when you're on the highway and you're kind of looking on the highway to a vanishing point where the road just disappears into nothingness, I can only imagine what that's like. How does that feel being out there in the open of Death Valley, and here you are on this baking asphalt?
Yeah. So you can look out there and think, wow, this sucks so bad. I have so far to go. I like can't even see how far. I can see 30 miles or whatever. I don't even know. You can think like that. But I mean, I just looked out there and I thought, wow, this is so beautiful. I mean, I'm from Pennsylvania. I see trees everywhere. And out there's just like mountains, but not mountains like I'm used to. It's just rock mountains, different colored rock. It's beautiful out there. If you haven't been to Death Valley, go. Don't go in the summer. Go when
Don't,
it's cooler.
don't go in the summer.
Yeah, don't go in the summer, but go at some point in your life. Like, like it sucks, but I was trying to really just feel all the feels and experience everything because it is truly a once in a lifetime opportunity to be out there. So I was just trying to keep everything positive. And everyone after the race, they told me they were like, you smiled the whole race. And I was like, it didn't feel like it, but if I did, that is great because I mean, that's what you should do. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted that. I wanted to be out there. I paid to be out there, I was gonna live it up.
That is the right mindset to have. My next question is, do you like the heat?
No, I, I don't. I don't hate the heat, but I don't like the heat. I like the 60 degrees, overcast, nice weather. But I mean, it's I wanted to do it, so
Did you encounter any unexpected obstacles during your event?
um, not necessarily. I knew sleep deprivation was going to be the hardest part for me, and it was. That second night was rough. It was an easy section. It was from Darwin to Olancha, which is the reroute. I don't know if y'all how familiar you are with the course this year, but there was actually flooding from because there was so much snow melt off of the mountains. So there was reroute. It was the same exact distance, and the reroute was like the same type of terrain and everything. So it was like flat and downhill, like slightly downhill. So it was such an easy section, but I was so tired, like I could barely run. I had to take more stops and naps than I was planning on. But you got to do what you got to do. The number one goal is to finish. So
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I was going to say about your pacers. I mean, sorry, your pacers, your crew and pacers. But um, one thing about being a good endurance runner, it's going with the mindset with your crew to be a good patient. They're basically taking care of you and they know what's best for you because they can think straight. They haven't been running in the heat like you have. So good on you for kind of going in with that mindset that surrendering yourself to whatever they tell me to do, I'm going to do it. If it's going to take you 3 bites of this nasty ass cheeseburger, I'm going to do it.
yeah,
So good for you. Um,
yeah.
if you could, I have a sillier question for you. If you could make any flavored gel to get you through a race, what would it be?
I don't know. Probably unflavored because
Unflavored.
yeah, it's the unflavored tailwind. That's what I use. It's amazing.
There we go.
Yeah.
And do you have a mantra, or did you have one going into this race?
I mean, I live by two quotes. One is um, dream the impossible and don't stop until it's possible. And you are never promised tomorrow, so do it today. So
That's
I live by those my whole life. So
Those are perfect. Those are absolutely perfect. So when you knew that you're going to finish this race and you're coming up to Whitney Portal and you know you got this, you're going to hit both your goals. What was that experience like?
well, to be honest, I didn't think I was going to hit 40 hours because the entire race, even the first checkpoint, I was like, so I had my splits written down like for 40 hours that I would need to hit. And at Furnace Creek, which is 17 miles in, I was already over the 40-hour check, like what I needed to hit. So then I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm not going to think about time. I don't, as long as I finish, as long as I'm not pushing a cutoff, I'm happy. So then on the last climb, I hadn't been on my phone all day. I didn't know what time it is. I asked, I don't even remember who was with me, what time it was. And they said, it's almost 12 o'clock. And I was like, I'm going to finish in 40 hours then. Like, I was just astonished. I was like, so you're telling me I'm going to finish this race and I'm going to do it in 40 hours. Like, I didn't think I was going to just because all day I hadn't hit. If you look at my splits compared, I was going off of a 39, 59, 59. So exactly a 40-hour thing. I was over every single split. And then I made up my time in that the last half marathon is where I got back on track. And then the last 4 miles, I was with Fran. That like my pacers split up the last 4 miles so that they could all do a mile with me, which was super cool. It was great to be able to like actually finish with all of them. But I was with my friend Fran, and I was like, Fran, look out there. I was like, you see that road? Because you can just see the road for miles and miles and miles. I'm like, that's where we came from. You see those mountain ranges? We climbed those. And I was just like, I'm doing this. And like the last 4 miles was the most amazing thing. I was just the whole time I just kept saying over and over, God is so good. Like there's a video of me just crying, saying God is so good as I'm climbing up these mountains because I was so happy. I was so excited. I was like, my belt buckle is 3 miles away. I'm going to get my belt buckle. I'm going to get my belt buckle. That's all I could think. It was just so surreal. It was amazing.
You know, I have to say that it's my first time talking with you, and I am so very impressed with who you are as a person and what I've learned from you in this very short conversation so far, which is I don't know if I could have picked a more perfect person to participate in this event, to really take it all in and appreciate all it is, and not only appreciate it, but appreciate the people who got you there, and appreciate yourself for putting in the work and getting there. And I know that part of your journey, it came from people you know, and it also came from perfect strangers. I saw that you guys had put up a GoFundMe account to help support you through this miraculous adventure. Is there anything that you want to share with those folks who have helped support you along the way?
Well, thank you. Like I said, I cannot say thank you enough to everyone. Like whether you donated to the race, whether you followed the race, whether you posted on Facebook, like to every single person who helped in some way. I'm sure I don't even know some of y'all. Like, just thank you for everything. The amount of support that I had for this race, I never ever would have imagined. Just even people who aren't involved in the running community and don't even know Badwater is still supported me in this, and it's just absolutely amazing. I could not have done this without my crew. I could not have done this without the community support. And I mean, if y'all have Instagram or Facebook or anything, I just made a post like of me at the finish and everything, of just all the different moments that were captured of me hugging people, because I think Badwater is a family, and it's something you cannot truly understand unless you are there, about how, like UltraRunning is a family, but the Badwater family is, it's special. And just thank you to everyone, like every single person who had some sort of effect in some way. Thank you.
When you when you saw the race director Chris at the finish, what was that moment like for you?
Well, it was amazing. I think it was kind of just like I did it. Like it was, I I can't even say, like there was so much going through my mind. I just wanted to be like, thank you so much, because I mean, it's his race. If he hadn't made the decision to change the age limit, I wouldn't have even been there this year. So it's just like, thank you so much. And I was so happy that I finished so I could show him that he made the right decision. Because I mean, quite frankly, if he changed the age limit and let me in and then I failed, that wouldn't have looked good. So I'm just so glad that I was able to show him that he made the right decision.
And he did make the right decision, absolutely, 100%. How do you think that this experience will shape your future as a runner, and as a person in different aspects of your life?
Yeah, so my friend Keith, that I've been mentioning this whole time, he told me that Badwater is really what put him on the map. And I mean, I'm not out here for fame, but I think this race, like one of my goals in life, I have two goals in life: one, to inspire people, and two, to make my pop proud. So I think this race, and with the amount of people that were following it, I've had so many people reach out to me and tell me, like, you're so inspiring. Or I had a lot of people even reach out and send me pictures and say, like, I went for a run today. I haven't ran in like 3 months, but I went for a run today because if you can do that, I can do this. And it was just, I love it so much that I'm able to inspire people, because, if I get famous, that's cool. I would love to be a professional runner. But it's just that if I can inspire people to do things, that's what is really important about getting my name out there and them seeing what I'm doing, is just so that they can go after their dreams and everything. So
At,
there's that aspect. But as a person, I've made so many connections and everything. So I know I have so many lifelong friends. We had a girls group chat with 7 of us leading up to the race, where we just shared about training and how we were nervous and terrified and excited, and we just had a great group chat, and then all 7 of us actually finished the race too. So it was amazing. And I said to them, I was like, this group chat alone makes up about 20% of the female finishers. And then we were like, wow, it was, yeah, it was a life-changing event, and I'm forever grateful for it.
Way to represent. That is awesome. My last question for you, Kaylee, is I have to ask, what's on your bucket list? What have your eyes set on next?
Um, well, just for the rest of this year, I've signed up for 7 more ultras, and I'm thinking about just doing 3 more to get to 20 ultras for the year. But as in whole world, like the rest of my life, there's so much left to do. I definitely want to go back to Badwater next year. If I get in again, then I will go back like in a heartbeat. But as for other things, there's so much. Cocodona 250, Triple Crown is 200s, Western States, Grand Slam of hundreds, Barkley Marathon. There's so much out
Yes,
there.
you're
There's so much
absolutely what we need. Oh my gosh. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love that you're in the sport. I love that you, as a 14-year-old, got propelled into this by saying it's just 5 more miles. And then you got bitten by the bug, and look at you now. That's fantastic.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on the show. I hope we can do it again sometime. I have a feeling I'll be seeing you at some point down the line, so I can't wait.
Yeah, I would absolutely love that. People said, I actually had a lot of people say that they're like from the older generation that they're handing the torch down to me, and I'm like, I promise I won't drop it. I promise I won't let y'all down. I love seeing younger runners. There's not a lot of them. I've never met anyone else my age at races that I've been at, but and I'm I'm here. Hopefully I can get some other younger runners out here start running stuff like this, because y'all are amazing. The amount of runners, I mean, mostly they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and they're amazing. So we can just bring some younger runners into there too.
Let's go. Well, you're the perfect ambassador for that. So you're well on your way, and I know that you've touched so many young folks they've started to think, oh, maybe I can do that. And you're showing them that that is completely possible. Kaylee Frederick, Badwater 135 finisher, congratulations. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great to talk to you. Hopefully I'll talk to you again sometime.
Me too. I hope so too. All right. Tell your mom I said hi.
Oh, thank you.
You got it. Well done. That was great.
Thanks. Glad I did good.
You did awesome. Oh my gosh. I am so impressed with you. It's not even funny. I cannot wait to tell my editor about you. She's going to love it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on.
Anytime. Absolutely. Yeah. I was I was looking down the Badwater sort of entry list, and then I was looking to see I was really wanting to see how Pam Reed was doing, and then I saw that you're competing. I'm like, wait a minute, who is this person? So started doing some research. I'm like, heck yeah, she's on a mission. Like I saw that you were like, they didn't let me run this race, but I'll be back to do it. And you did. You're like, yeah. I have something to prove. And then you called your shot. You're like, yeah, I'm not only going to run Badwater, but I'm going to be the youngest person to finish it. Like, that takes a lot. That takes a lot of grit to do that in Moxie, and that's so cool that you did it. So awesome.
Yeah. I just if I have a goal, I'm gonna get it. That's who I am as a person. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah. I am going to send you the link once it's published, so stay tuned for that. So hopefully within the next week or so, we'll have that up and running. But it's going to be great. I cannot wait to share this with the world. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
You got it. Have a great rest of the night.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.